welcome to What the Unlike your tuna sandwich, it's dolphin free. Let's get a preview of tonight's show from Timothy Walton in our legal department. Hey, Timothy, what do we have in store for tonight's show?
This week, our panel will discuss the nature of free will and how that translates to an inability to retain personal moral beliefs while participating in a group. Also, why are the nicest, most fun people the ones who don't get as much work done? And finally, do people who love dogs suck?
Thanks, Timothy. We'll join you back at the end of the show. Hey, a supermodel, Nobel Prize winner, and Olympic gold medalist are the guests you'd expect to see on The Tonight Show. But let's meet tonight's panel instead. In the far chair, she's more breathtaking than autoerotic asphyxiation. It's Nurse Sarah Smith. In the middle chair, it's another nurse, a member of the comedy troupe The Suburban Squirrels. It's Frankie J. She's so sharp, needles are afraid of her. In between them, he's the host of KMVT's only live show, John Wants Answers. It's John Bink. If Insightful Questions was a tilt-a-whirl, teenagers would puke after getting off on him. Finally, joining us from an undisclosed remote location via the internet, it's attorney at law Alex Sklar. If profound insights were birthday candles, little kids would blow him while making a wish. Issue number 1, do we have free choice, or is it just white noise? A new study from the University of California, Davis suggests that free will may arise from a hidden signal buried in the background noise of the chaotic electrical activity in the brain, and that this activity occurs almost a second before people consciously decide to do something. This brain activity wasn't strictly a signal at all. It was noise, part of the brain's omnipresent and seemingly random electrical firing. In fact, neuroscientists usually considered this background noise meaningless and disregarded it when trying to figure out the brain's response to specific tasks. For further comment, we turn to KMVT's official Zen masters. Yeah, one of them is free will, one of them is pre-determinism, and I haven't figured out which one is which one.
I hope the guy in the white's got a cup on.
Or
There
3
you
or
go.
4, maybe.
Hey, Sarah, free noise, merely noise in the brain. Agree or disagree?
I would disagree. You know, I think there's a lot that we just haven't tapped into with a neuroscientist. There's a lot about the brain we don't know. I would venture that that's probably more like intuition than free will.
Okay.
Or background noise.
So you don't believe you have a choice at all?
No, I think you do. I think you do. But, you know, it's sort of like those Bugs Bunny shows, you know, where there's like the good angel on the one side and the bad angel on the other.
All right.
You know, then...
But you at some point you have to make a choice between the two angels, correct?
You do.
Or the
you
angel
do.
and the devil.
You do.
Right? But that's not free choice or free will?
It might be.
Okay. You just don't care? Or just...
No, I don't think to call it noise is, I think that's sort of like, well, we don't know what the heck it is, so we'll just call it noise.
Okay. All right. But does that affect in the debate between the existence of free will versus predeterminism, does this study move the debate in one way or the other for you?
No, not at all.
Just more noise?
I think the study is more noise, absolutely, yeah.
Right.
They should turn it down a little.
All right. Now, since you're a nurse, and I'll go to the second nurse for a second opinion here. Frankie, what's your take on this?
I don't think this white noise has anything to do with the free will.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
But then do you believe in the existence of free will?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have a choice?
I have a choice.
Now,
every day.
now
of
they-
just staying here or getting up and running out of the studio.
Okay. Okay, but you're going to choose not to do that as a favor to me, right?
I will choose not to do that because I wish to be here.
Okay. But wait a minute. So how would you address then that signal that occurs about a second before you actually do something? What would your take on that be?
Well, it's probably, knowing my own brain, I just have implanted little teeny subatomic particles back there that click together and make jerk, jerk, jerk noise, which I'm sure you could hear.
That's
so,
what that
yeah,
is.
that's what that is.
Okay. What do those subatomic particles do?
A distraction to keep you from making the most moral decisions.
Oh, okay. Does anybody control that signal to you?
It's the aliens.
Okay. All right. Good for you. John,
Hello.
free will?
I believe in free will.
Okay.
I'm not sure what this study thought they found, but I don't think that was it.
Okay, but the correlation between the signal in the brain 1 second before you decide to do something, what's your take on that?
I think it probably represents something completely different. Like, I sometimes may have to make decisions a lot faster than 800 milliseconds.
Right.
Which is what the study said it took.
Okay.
Like, if I'm playing a video game, right, I got to shoot this guy, then that guy, I got to make all these decisions.
But is that free will, or is that merely a reaction?
Well,
Is the white noise stopping itself now? Maybe someone's disrupted it.
are we talking about decision making or free will, and what's the difference?
Well, see, that's the thing. They equate free will to decision making, right? And so there's a signal in the brain that occurs a second before you decide to do something. So, is there a correlation? I mean, the correlation between the two, do you think does that indicate anything about the existence of free will?
I just think it means that there's a signal before you make a decision. Maybe it's a signal meaning I'm thinking. Maybe that's a signal,
Okay.
not, here's the answer.
Okay. All right. Hey, Alex, free will, predeterminism, what's your take?
Well, of course, as a human being, I prefer to have free will and not to think that I'm a slave to chemical impulses in my brain, that I'm not an automaton that's always influenced by, well, basically your biological functions.
Oh, okay.
I'm able to make free decisions. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, but I've seen you without caffeine, Alex, so you're a very different person than you are with caffeine. So how do you address that?
That's addiction, and that's also part of being a human being. Jim, I have to say that this is a very heavy topic. I'm a little bit surprised that we're talking about something that's very, very philosophical. I miss the old stories about, penis stories and sex stories, the old episodes. This is a very deep issue.
Well,
I'm hoping to lighten up later in the show.
Well, I don't know, but do you think that's a product of your free will or just predetermined preference for penis
That's
stories?
a product of my desire for lightening up the show.
Ah, there you go. All right.
And
Well, would you submit yourself to an electrodes to your brain that would disrupt that signal to see if the existence of free will does or does not exist?
no, I wouldn't, Jim. Would you?
No, I just asked just to be curious. But all right, I think we are done with the issue. Thank you very much. Hey, issue number 2: do your morals go poop when you are in a group? A study in the online journal Neural Image explored the hypothesis that people in groups lose touch with their own morals and beliefs, become more likely to do things that harm others, and do other things that they believe are wrong. Researchers measured brain activity in a part of the brain involved in thinking about oneself and found that in some people, this activity was reduced when the subjects participated in a competition as part of a group, compared with when they competed as individuals. Man, that was a long sentence. Those individuals more likely to harm their competitors than people who did not exhibit this decreased brain activity. I think we have some of the research footage here.
Скачал сюда немного. Оператор скажет. Оператор скажет тебе.
Я снимаю все.
Давай.
Preprinted.
Whoa, I didn't see that happen. No, I didn't see it.
Oh wow, I don't want to trust that group there.
It was the group's fault, man.
Yeah,
What
right.
is
Doing
the
the best they
blankets
could.
or
Hey,
whatever that
John,
is?
people are not people become jerks when they're part of groups. Agree or disagree?
Sure. With the classic groupthink
Right.
theory. So, if people around you, if you're in a group and they're making fun of some guy, you want to be a square, so you got to join in of making fun of that guy.
Do you do that?
One-on-one, no, I don't do that.
Oh, okay.
Jerks do that. Groups of jerks do that.
Okay. And
I surround myself with great people.
how do you tell the difference between a jerk and great people?
Well, a jerk makes fun of someone else.
You don't make fun of other people at all?
Well, you, behind your back.
Okay. All right. But all right, Frankie, what's your take on this thing?
Is group jerk some kind of a new Caribbean dish? Group jerk? I didn't know.
No, it's actually something you do as an alternative lifestyle.
That's hilarious.
It's a circle jerk.
This is a big line of group jerk.
No,
Oh,
just a
never
bunch of
mind.
one-handed guys.
Right or left?
There you go.
I
Yeah.
don't think it really matters.
Or just one-fingered guys. 5 one-fingered guys. But anyways,
You need more than that finger.
there you
Come
go.
on.
Go
What
ahead.
do you do with one finger?
More than one finger. Wait. Oh.
Oh, never
No.
mind. I know. I saw it last night on a movie.
John's visual is different than your visual.
I guess so.
All right.
No,
but yeah, people
I-
tend to lose touch with their moral beliefs when they're part of a
Well,
group.
yeah, look at all the stupid people in the Middle East right now. Just everybody joining all this icy thing.
ISIS? Okay.
Yeah.
So if it was
Everybody-
just one of
everybody-
them, they wouldn't be a big problem. But if
no,
there's a whole
but
bunch
there's
of them,
a whole bunch of icy guys.
all right.
Just they've taken a third of an entire
Okay.
country.
Okay. Okay. Well, then, okay, so you're buying this, right?
Hmm.
All right. Hey, Sarah,
Yes.
what is it? Are you buying this or not?
Oh, totally. I mean, just look at Washington, D.C.
Yeah. What does that say about democracy then? If people become jerks in groups and are okay as individuals?
Well, I don't think are people in Washington ever alone, because they're always followed by lobbyists and, people who want something from them. They're always in their chambers doing their thing. So,
They're alone when they're smoking crack.
well, someone's got to give them the crack.
Yeah.
Well, no, they can get the
Well, that's
crack.
true.
And
That's
they-
true.
like, as
But
a
they're
take-
probably with their hookers,
Oh, that's true.
right?
Hooker-
I
oh,
mean,
that's right.
it's way more fun to smoke crack with a hooker, I would assume,
Yeah.
than by yourself,
for sure.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
You might be able to tell us.
unless
Jim could share.
the bitch set them up. But,
Well, yeah, that's
but
true.
yeah, what does that say about democracy if people are jerks in groups?
Well, I think it explains where we are today, right?
Well, would it be better if just one person ruled?
No,
Okay. Well,
no.
So
Just
there you
throw
go.
them all out.
Maybe.
So it's the second worst form of government ever, right? Democracy.
Well,
What's
but
the first?
Everything else.
Well, it depends. I mean, we could go into this whole crazy argument about whether or not we're a true democracy versus a republic.
Okay.
But I just think where we are right now, it would really explain all the stupid stuff that doesn't happen, or that does happen, coming out of Washington, or Sacramento for that matter.
There you go. Hey, Alex, I got a minute left, so I'm going to give you the last word. What do you think? People become jerks when they're a part of a group.
Jim, I don't know if it's a function of me being overseas and I don't have a good computer connection, but did one of your panelists mention iced tea or icy or what? I can barely hear.
ISIS.
What does that have to do with groupthink?
ISIS. Not my girlfriend. The other ISIS.
ISIS? Is that like that character from like the 70s, the Wonder Woman character?
Yeah, that was it. She was kind of a jerk too.
Sorry.
Kind of a cold fish. Yeah, but what's your take on this then? Otherwise.
Yeah, you know what? I hate to admit it. In college, I was part of a fraternity, and yes, being part of a group does bring out the big jerk in you. And being part of this group brings out the jerk in me as well.
Yes.
So yes.
You're too hard on yourself, Alex. Keep your pants on. Oh, hey, we're done with the segment. On to our first break. And we are back from our first break. Hey, issue number 3. Are the best the ones that protest? Researchers at the universities of Illinois and Pennsylvania found that people who are disgruntled at their jobs may be better at them than their happy counterparts. Researchers found that both the likers and the haters spent the same amount of time working. However, the haters do fewer things than the people with positive attitude in the same amount of time, and therefore are more focused on the things they actually do. I believe we have an illustration of the difference here. Yeah, I don't know which one is the hater and which one's the liker in that video.
Oh, I'm not sure either.
Anyways, let's see. All right, hey,
They both look kind
Frankie, haters gonna hate. Disgruntled employees better at work than their happier counterparts. Agree or disagree?
I disagree. We got some really grumpy people at work,
All right.
and they don't seem to get anything. They spend a lot of time just being grumpy and negative,
All right.
and trying to figure out how best to get through the shift with doing the least amount of work.
Right, but does that make them most efficient?
No,
Okay. All right, so you're the happy person, right?
yeah,
You're the happy one?
I know it. Yes,
And
me,
so-
me and the aliens and the subatomic particles.
They make you happy?
Yeah,
Okay. They shock you into happiness?
They don't have to shock anymore. I'm just kind of programmed that way now.
Oh, okay. So you're draining your free will. Okay. So do you? The study also noticed that the happy employees tend to do more things and try more things. Do you buy that too?
Yeah.
Do you try
Yeah.
more things at work?
I try more. I do actually. I try different ways of influencing people.
Right.
And seeing what works, and then if that doesn't work, I have to try a different attack. So it's like being an attorney, you know, whatever you want them to say, you try a different way of phrasing the question so that they'll give you the answer you want.
Do you try the new drugs too?
Yeah, they're really good.
Okay, all right. John,
Hey.
disgruntled employees better at work than their happier counterparts, agree or disagree?
I'm not buying this, Jim.
You're not buying it at all?
I think people who do less things, you could say they're better at those things.
Right.
But then there's all these other skills they don't have. And
Like?
happy people, well, I mean, the happy people are doing more different tasks, right?
Right.
So they become more proficient at many more things. And so there's jobs that the happy people can do that the grumpy people can't do.
Now, is it possible that this is more like a reverse causation in the sense that people are disgruntled because they're not doing as many things, and if they did more things, they may be happier employees?
Well, it sounded like they only got fewer things done because they were grumpy.
Okay.
That's what the article kind of said.
That's what the article
But I guess that would make me grumpy too.
If
Like,
you-
you know, in the Ford assembly plants, those
Right.
guys did the same thing every day and they're going crazy.
Right.
But when they started shifting things around, everyone was happy.
Yeah.
But less
yeah.
productive.
That's they did IQ tests for Henry Ford, and if you scored too high, you didn't get the job. You know that, right?
I don't know that.
Okay, well, now you do.
That makes sense.
Sarah?
Yes. Jim.
Disgruntled employees make better employees?
Oh gosh, no.
Okay.
I mean, they piss everyone else off.
Do they really?
Because they're grumpy all the time.
All right.
Yeah.
And you're a happy employee, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
And you try a lot of new things.
Yeah, I mean, I think people who are a little happier are more willing to change things up a little bit and make things better. I mean, it also depends what you do, right? I mean, if you're sitting in a room doing code all day long, you can be as grumpy as you want and just be coding all day. But
Right.
if you're working in a hospital or in a group setting where your morals are going down or up, depending on your philosophy, then, you can get a lot more accomplished.
And a lot more drugs taken, too?
Yeah, a lot more drugs, have a lot more fun.
All right. All right. And so you're having fun. Hey, Alex, you're a lawyer. What's your take on this?
I'm waiting for the weekly episode story on penises.
See, he's focused on one thing.
These are really serious topics, Jim. What's the deal? Script writers, man.
See what happens?
Okay, all right. I'll go back to the topic, Jim. You know what? I agree with the other panelists. You know what? Grumpy workers spend a lot of time complaining. Oh, I'm complaining right now about this. Being a team player, Jim. So.
But are you getting more done right now?
You tell me, Jim. All my jokes are falling flat, so probably not.
No, actually, I think they're pretty good. But see, you managed to hit the segment right on the dot. Hey, issue number 4. If you prefer dogs, are you a hog? A study from the University of Melbourne, go Wallabies, has discovered that dog people are typically more dominant and comfortable with social hierarchy compared to their cat-loving counterparts. It also found that they are more likely to accept social inequality between groups. Dog lovers were also found to be more competitive than cat lovers and scored higher on the social dominance orientation in surveys. This personality trait is linked with group-based discrimination, and people who score higher on the scale are more likely to accept, and endorse social inequality. For further comment, we turn to our science expert, Don Leamer. Dr. Leamer, your comments.
А я пошла снимать. Давай. Да? Давай. Почему глаза не закрываем? Довольно. Давай еще раз. Отнимите зонтик.
Yeah, Dr. Leamer is more of a shower, not a teller. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Anyways. Oh, well, okay, let's see here. Hey, Alex, since you're the disgruntled guy, I'm going to go to you first. Anyways, dog lovers, more bigger jerks. What's your take on this?
I think pet owners tend to be a little bit more jerks than non-pet owners. I don't know about specifically dogs, but I know this is a bit of a generalization, but I think people who care more about animals tend to make other people. That's just my take on it.
Okay, so I assume by saying that you don't have any pets.
I don't. I'm a very nice person.
Okay. Well, do you come from? Well, anyways, you're having a little hang up, so I'll let the hang up. I'll let the internet clear up your hang up for a while. But hey, John.
I care about my.
You have a cat or a dog?
I had 2 cats.
What happened?
Well, they all died.
Okay.
sad.
What's your take on this?
Cat owners, I think, are lazier because they can just ignore the cat,
Right.
and the cat takes care of itself.
Right.
I think dog owners might be a little more insecure.
Okay.
Because they need a dog to love them
Okay.
and be loyal to them.
You don't need a cat to love you.
It's hard to say if my cat loves me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like an ex-wife, right? No, sorry about that. But are you buying that they're more prejudiced? Dog owners are more prejudiced than cat owners? Or are you just
I'm going to say everything negative I can about dog owners. So yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Sarah,
Jim,
cat owner, dog owner, no pet.
I have cats.
Okay.
Yes.
What's your take on this?
You know, it's funny because whenever you see someone who has a cat and a dog, the cat tends to be more dominant in the relationship and the dog is a little bit more submissive.
Right.
And even though the cat is smaller, unless you have one of those little chihuahuas that's like smaller than a kitten and you just, can stick it in your purse, which are kind of obnoxious. But, so I don't know. I mean, it depends too. Like, do you have a big hunting dog? Who are these people that they're interviewing for these things anyway?
I assume they're just people who volunteer for social science studies.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting take because cat owners, cats are definitely more independent. I think the owners tend to be a little bit more independent and happier. And the dog owners do, dogs can be a lot higher maintenance than a cat.
Yeah.
So
But
does that mean the dog owners themselves are more high maintenance? That's a good question.
But they also live longer, right? Dog owners.
The dog owners?
Yep.
You know.
Because someone's got to walk that dog. You don't walk a cat.
That's true. No, the cat will walk you.
There you go. All right. Frankie, what's your take?
Well, having had dogs and cats, I'm not sure what my take is because the dogs, of course, have passed away, but they were wonderful.
Right.
And I didn't feel any more, macho domineering. I don't think my husband was either.
Okay. So you're more of an in-betweener, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You swing both ways.
Well, I wish the story had been on kangaroos and koala bears.
And lemurs. Okay, there you go.
Oh, that lemur thing. Is that not exploitation? That was terrible. Give him a stupid umbrella. Oh, my God.
Well,
Dr. Lemur with an umbrella, please.
He seemed to like the umbrella, but...
well, no, he grasped. Yeah. It was
could you say the same about big dog owners versus small dog owners?
Well,
I'll leave it at that.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Yes. All right, we are out of time for the segment. On to our second break. And we are back from our second break. Hey, for all those of you who want to send us rude comments, questions, or snide remarks, our information is here below. Twitter somewhere here, I think, and then somewhere there's going to be an email address if you want to choose an email address. So we're glad to hear from you if I ever check the email address or the Twitter account. But anyways, hey, we are on to the final segment of the show, and this is our fact-checking segment. This is where we learn where we went wrong during the course of the show. And for that, we rejoin Timothy Walton in our legal department. Hey, Timothy, how did we do on tonight's show?
As usual, Jim, you have me working overtime to correct all the errors that the panel has made. But I have done so, and I will address a few things, beginning with Alex's problem. I have a similar problem. The panel took a very serious discussion about the interplay between ethics and metaphysics and made it into silly chit-chat about masturbation. Whose idea was that?
How we do, Timothy?
Indeed.
Timothy?
But while we're discussing free will, John, I have to point out to you that free will does actually require you to choose. In the words of the great poet Neil Peart, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
That's heavy, man. That's real heavy.
Yes.
And Frankie, you can't blame psychosis on subatomic particles implanted by aliens.
Yeah.
Well, if she does believe in that, is there any convincing her otherwise, Timothy?
She's the nurse. She ought to know the symptoms of psychosis.
Self-diagnosis is often the hardest.
Yeah, well, maybe Sarah could diagnose her. Except Sarah seems to believe she has a cartoon devil on her shoulder.
Me?
No, we'll just add that in post.
And by the way, John, utilitarianism does not require that you call people jerks.
Oh, utilitarianism, I think it's a reference to groupthink. Right? Is that right, Timothy?
Correct.
John Rawls, if I'm not mistaken.
I roll?
John Rawls, the philosopher on utilitarianism. I could be wrong, but that'd be throwing too much at the fact checker at the last second.
Jeremy Bentham.
Jeremy Bentham? Okay.
But while we're pointing out that John likes to call people jerks when other people are doing so,
Jerk.
I wonder, John, could you please insult the people who have fish as pets as well?
Oh man, they're lame. That's that's barely a pet. This is some blob floating in some water.
Okay.
You gotta add food to.
We're gonna get letters, John. Thanks a lot.
I had lame Matt's fish for a while. It was just a lame fish.
We're gonna get letters, and they're gonna be soggy letters.
So long as they don't have the dead fish in them.
There you go.
Right, really.
Hey, Timothy, looks like we got about a minute left. How we doing?
Well, I gotta point out to Frankie that kangaroos and koalas are not pets.
They're food.
No?
I heard it's not very good either.
And Sarah, it is more fun to smoke crack with a hooker than smoking crack alone.
Thanks for clarifying, Tim. Appreciate that.
Yeah, but we'll ask any senator.
That's right.
The hard part's the hooker. Hard part's getting the hooker.
Oh,
That's a hard part.
got enough money.
Well, the crack is easy in D.C. Just the hookers.
Really? I thought the cookers were equally easy.
I'm just taking what the
I saw a
senators
documentary
say.
on
I'm
that.
taking what the senators say at face value.
Okay.
Crack is so easy flooding the streets. They never say hookers are flooding the streets of our city.
Can you imagine?
Flooding the streets with hookers.
Wow.
I just say give them to pens.
I'm drowning.
All right, Timothy, it looks like we got about 10 seconds to go. So do you have anything short and pithy?
Yes, Jim, quit calling people haters. They are affection challenged.
Oh.
I stand corrected. Hey, Timothy, thank you very much to the panel and the crew and everyone for watching. Later.
I'm gonna pretend there's music playing now.
Is it playing?
Probably.